So, have you ever wondered what a Formula One car, a modern jetliner, and your high end bicycle all have in common? Well, the answer is this incredible, revolutionary material that is somehow stronger than steel but lighter than plastic. Today, we're diving deep into the story of carbon fiber. Okay, let's get right into it. For, well, most of human history, engineers and builders had to make a really tough choice. If you wanted to build something super strong, you pretty much had to use something like steel, which, as you know, is incredibly heavy. On the other hand, if you wanted something light, you could use plastic, but you'd lose all that strength. It was always one or the other. But what if you could just throw that choice out the window? What if you could have the best of both worlds? Imagine a material with the muscle of metal, but the feather-light weight of plastic. That one simple question, what if, is really what kickstarted a massive revolution in how we built things. To really understand this stuff, we gotta go way back. And its origin story, it's probably not what you're thinking. It doesn't start in some high-tech aerospace lab, but was something you used to see in every single house. That's right, a light bulb. The very first kind of primitive carbon fibers were actually made back in the 1800s. You had inventors like Joseph Swan and the famous Thomas Edison, and they were desperately trying to find a filament that would glow super bright without just burning out instantly. And their solution? It was brilliant. They would take things like cotton threads or bamboo slivers, bake them at super high temperatures, and cook them down until all that was left were these pure, thin little strands of carbon. But as you can see, the purpose of this material completely changed over the next century. I mean, it went from just glowing inside a glass bulb in 1879 to a huge breakthrough in 1958 when Roger Bacon created the first real high-performance fibers. But the real game changers? That was Dr. Akio Shindo in Japan, who tried a whole new raw material called pan, and then researchers in the UK, who, in 1963, totally perfected the process, creating the mind-blowingly strong fibers that we use today. Okay, so that's the history. Now let's get to the fun part. How is this stuff actually made? How do you turn a simple plastic into a material that's tougher than steel? Well, it's kind of like a very, very high-tech baking recipe. So the main ingredient for pretty much all modern carbon fiber is this organic polymer, a type of plastic called polyacrylonitrile. We just call it PAN for short. It's kind of funny. It has this really humble beginning as a basic plastic, but it ends up in some of the most advanced machines on the planet. And here's that four-step recipe. First, they spin the pan plastic into these incredibly tiny fibers. We're talking thinner than a single human hair, and they stretch them out. Second, they stabilize it with some gentle heat. But third, this is where the magic happens, the inferno. The fibers get blasted in an oxygen-free furnace at over 1,000 degrees Celsius. This just incinerates everything that isn't carbon, leaving behind these perfect, pure chains of carbon atoms. And finally, they treat the surface so it can grab onto resin, which is what turns the raw fibers into a material you can actually build with. So, okay, we've got these pure carbon fibers. But why are they so strong? What's the secret? It really all comes down to one key idea, and trust me, the numbers tell an absolutely incredible story. And that key idea is the strength-to-weight ratio. It's actually a really simple concept. How strong is something compared to how heavy it is? You want that number to be as high as you can possibly get it. It is the ultimate report card for a material. And this is where carbon fiber just leaves everything else in the dust. And I mean, just look at how staggering the difference is. First, check out the density. Carbon fiber is about half as dense as aluminum and nearly 5 times lighter than steel. That alone is amazing. But then look at tensile strength. That's how much you can pull on it before it snaps. It's over 5 times stronger than steel. So when you put those two numbers together to get the strength-to-weight ratio, well, it's not even a competition. Carbon fiber is just playing a different game entirely. Now, this incredible performance isn't just something you see on a spreadsheet. It has completely changed how entire industries operate. So let's take a look at where this space-age material is making a huge difference in the real world. Get this, the single biggest user, by far, is the aerospace industry. They use up about half of all the carbon fiber we make. And the reason is simple. When you're flying, weight is absolutely everything. Every pound you can save means less fuel burned, a longer flight range, and a smaller footprint on the environment. And that's why modern jets like the Boeing 787 are actually made of more than 50% composite materials by weight. In the car world, it started out in Formula One with the game-changing McLaren MP4/1 chassis, and now it's super important for EVs to help cancel out the weight of those heavy batteries. It's making wind turbine blades longer and more efficient, it's reinforcing old bridges, and hey, it's probably in the sports gear you use, from your bike frame to your tennis racket. This material has already changed so much, but honestly, we are just getting started. So what's next? What does the future hold? Let's talk about the challenges and some of the really mind-blowing ideas that are right around the corner. Look, carbon fiber isn't perfect. It's still really expensive to make, the whole process uses a ton of energy, and recycling it is tricky. But, and this is the cool part, those challenges are exactly what's pushing innovation forward. Scientists are figuring out how to 3D print with it, how to create smart carbon fiber with tiny sensors that can tell you if it's damaged, and they're even mixing it with other super materials like graphene to make it even stronger. Plus, they're inventing way better ways to recycle it. And this really captures the big picture. This drive for stronger, lighter, and more sustainable stuff isn't just a trend. It's a necessity. Materials like carbon fiber aren't a luxury anymore. They're basically a cornerstone for the future of engineering and design. Which brings us to one final thought to leave you with. The whole story of carbon fiber is really about shattering old expectations of what's even possible. It makes you ask a really big question. What can we build? What can we achieve when the old limits of strength and weight just don't apply anymore? The answer to that? Well, it's still being written.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more How Meets History.